I'm super excited. Okay, so here's another example for you guys. You are looking at the web analyzer. If you look back at the last video, I posted an example of where to get in for a buy with your USD JPY. That was this morning in the New York session. As you can see, this buy started way back here. This trade is moving, so let me point this out for you, okay? So the 5-minute, you have all your confirmations here. Having a little bit of pullback, but your 15-minute is now lining up, okay? So I'm gonna show you exactly where you will wanna enter. We're almost there, not quite yet, just because we wanna make sure the trade goes exactly in our direction. Now, I get in right where the MACD is getting close and almost crossing. I actually just entered. I usually will wait a little bit longer, but everything looks really nicely. It's pointing down. Your red signal line for your stochastic is on top, and the MACD is almost crossing. And also too, on your 5-minute chart, let's just go back. Everything crossed really nicely. Do you see this, guys? So your 5-minute is already set up. You had a nice long buy here. You could have got a lot of pips off of this morning. I did an example of that. Now here's the thing. When the MACD is not closed yet on the 15-minute chart, this tells you you have some possible pullback. You know, so this is why you want to be patient. You want this MACD to come down and cross so that you know that it's going to go your way, okay? So let's just be patient and see exactly how this plays out once you're in the trade. And if you have pullback, you don't have to panic. That's why we wait to make sure that everything is going to go our direction, okay? So while this is setting up, I'll just go really slowly and go back to the 5-minute chart, and we'll talk more about this trade, okay? So we'll go back here. So again, if you look at the example that I posted from this morning, early this morning, we had a big drop. It was about a 20 pip drop on USD JPY. It started about right here, went all the way down to 110.57 or so, okay? And then you had your buy that started to take place here. Now you had a strong confirmation here. I pointed out in the last video what the 15-minute chart looked like. I also pointed out about the RSI levels being above 50 for a buy, which gives you a strong indication that it's going to continue to go your way. Now the strength is with the buyers when it's above 50. When it's below 50, the strength is with the sellers. So as you can see, look how price played out this morning, and now it has set up for a sale, okay? So now we're setting up for a sale. We're on the 5-minute chart. You have all of your confirmations here. So when you look at your confirmations, the first thing you want to ask yourself, does rule number 1 meet? Has price closed outside of the Bollinger Band? And the answer is yes. Your last 3 candles closed extremely outside of the Bollinger Band, and that's exactly what you want. Rule number 2, is your RSI, and remember guys, before you start trading, you always want to check FX News or forexfactory.com. Make sure you avoid red folders so that you're not stuck in news. All right, so your RSI came way above 70. So I like my RSI to be above 80, pointing down, which it did. And then you want your stochastic to be above 80. Since this is a sell, you want the red signal line to cross over the blue and everything is pointing down. And the same with the MACD. Most times the MACD is going to be the last indicator to cross. So the MACD will come together, cross, your red will be on top, and you have a perfect confirmation here. And when all the rules matched up, you had your sell candle that started to form, all right? So you always confirm that on the 5-minute chart first. After that's confirmed, you then go to the 15-minute chart. You no longer need to worry about the 5-minute chart because the 5-minute has already done what it's needed to do. The 5-minute is what's taken place. The 15-minute is now following, gearing up after it, okay? And so now we're looking at the 15-minute chart, and we want the same exact setup. We want the same exact setup. So if you look at this, the last 2 candles closed outside of the Bollinger Band. Your red candle started to form. Your RSI came above 80 and is pointing down. And then you have your stochastic red signal line that crosses over your blue, and you just want this to point down more. So it's having some, hesitation, pullback right now. And then your MACD is going to tell you whether if you're going to have a possible pullback reversal. So that's why you don't want to get in too early. If you get in right here, you just may experience it price going the other way for a little bit. You know, we don't know what the market is going to do. These indicators are only an indication of what it could possibly do, okay? But when this MACD closes, that's when you will start to notice the momentum on your trade. And that's exactly what happened here on the 5-minute chart, all right? Once your MACD closes, it's the last indicator to close. It's a momentum indicator. So when this MACD closes, you're gonna notice that price is going to go your way, all right? So now we're on the 15-minute chart and we're having, as you can see on the 5-minute, we're having just a little bit of pullback, and you can see that here too on this red candle. So in this moment, what do I do? Now, the way you want to trade, you don't want to have to constantly look at your phone. Now, this is a scalping method. So I scalp, I'm home 24/7. I could totally watch my phone all day if I wanted to, but that is not how I like to trade. I like to enter a trade confidently, and I like to know my risk management before I'm going into a trade, which I'll be honest, that was difficult for me to nail down when I first started doing this strategy. And I forced myself to go back to demo until I was able, let me just show you this really quickly. So this is on a demo account I'm going to show you, and notice what's happening. I told you I'm in the trade already, right? So you see that it's in positive. It's positive $7, $6 right now. And see what's happening, guys? I'm going to hold this up. See what's happening as the MACD closes? See the MACD closing? Let's just watch it. Watch what happens. Okay, see the MACD closing? As the MACD comes together, it's going to see $7 right now. Let's just keep watching. It's going to close. So what you could do is go ahead and move up your stop loss 1 pip if you wanted to make this a risk-free trade, or you could close it out in profit if you wanted. I'm just going to be patient, and I'm just going to and see what I do. What I normally do, I didn't do this for the purpose of this video, but I normally just enter 2 positions. So I usually trade 10 cents per every 100 in my account. Now I trade multiple accounts. I have multiple accounts for different goals. But look at this trade, you guys. Look how this is playing out, okay? So at this point, you could enter right here. This is where you could enter, right here. Now you could have entered where I entered, all right? I'm like $8 positive right now. So you could have entered where I entered. However, the only thing is that you have to know that you possibly risk some pullback. And some people get scared with pullback. You're gonna have pullback regardless, okay? But I just want you to see what's happening right now. And so when I'm just gonna go for 10 pips on here, and this is just how it's playing out. So I'm really excited to be able to show you guys this. $9 right now, okay? $9 as you can see as the MACD comes together. Remember, the MACD is our accelerator. It's our volume indicator. So when that thing comes together, guys, it's gonna go your way. You go for 3 to 5 pips. You could really go for it as you start to gain more experience with this strategy. You could go for 10 to 20 pips. That's where I utilize my RSI. So let's look at the 5-minute chart and see what it's doing now. So we go to the 5-minute and see how this is all played out nicely, and see how your RSI is right at the 50 level and it's crossing down. So that tells us it's going to continue to, well, the strength is heading with the sellers. The strength is with the sellers, and see how it's continuing to go down. So then we just you could have taken profit by now, honestly. Or actually, no, I could have taken profit since I'm already in it. But hopefully this gives you a good idea. Again, another live trade example, which shows you at what point you would enter. As you can see, if you would have entered by now, just because the MACD didn't cross all the way, you could have had some pullback, but everything looks really nice. It's coming together. And then normally what I do is after everything comes together on the 15-minute chart, I then go to the 30-minute chart and I hold my position until the MACD crosses on the 30-minute. That's how I'm able to get about 20 pips, honestly. But that is a little bit risky because anything can happen and anything can change, but that's just if you want to do that, okay? So I'm just going to hold this a little bit longer. It may take a few minutes. I'm not sure. I want to show you exactly what happens. I haven't closed the trade just yet, but I want to show you exactly what happens when the MACD crosses and kind of show you how this plays out. So as you can see, it kind of went down. So you got all the way up to $10. Now it's at $6.85, $6.94. So I could have closed the trade a while back, but I'm just doing this as an example for you guys, just to show you exactly what you want to look for. So I always enter on the 15-minute chart. Okay, so see here, so the MACD has crossed on the 15-minute chart, and you see how it's trying to pull back a little bit right now, but it's gonna keep going our way. As soon as that MACD crosses, guys, that is money. So I don't even panic, because once it's far down like that, I want this RSI to come down more below about 50. So it has some ways to go right about here, but I don't panic. I'm like, I own this system. This is my system. The market respects me, and I'm a world-class trader. You have to tell yourself that when you're trading. Give yourself much confidence. All right? You're going my way. Thank you very much. Thank you for paying me. Thank you so much. So now I'm going to close out, guys, with 10 bucks on this one. Actually, it's having a little bit of pullback, so I'm just going to wait really quickly. Let this play out some. It's at $8.75. I'm going to wait till it gets to about $10. Just want to let this MACD cross a little bit more. And then you say to yourself, I'm not going to be greedy. I'm going to take my 8 pips and get out, or whatever you want to do, or you can move up your stop loss. So that's what, well, I'm actually going to close this because I'm actually going to end this video. So now I'm at $11, guys. $11 on this trade, and I'm going to go ahead and close that one out. Yay! So I hope you guys understood this. So now you can see that when you go back to the 5-minute chart, the 5-minute has already nicely played out. So once you start to recognize the 4 rules and what to look for, then it will be very evident to you in terms of when to get in, what the market is doing. But you just have to understand what you're doing, and that takes time and practice. I demoed this strategy for about 2 months, 2.5 months before I even went live into a live account. There were times where I went live and I had to go back to demo to perfect certain things to make sure that I was understanding. Sometimes I got frustrated because I felt like, well, I'm not getting the proper setup on the analyzer, what is going on, and I don't have time to sit around and wait for alerts, and then I'm not getting the proper setup. You just have to know what to look for, and you got to trade during the right time. So I just showed you examples from early this morning, New York session. It's still New York session. It's about 9:47 a.m. my time. That means it's about 12:47 New York time. I usually stop when it's lunchtime over there because it can kind of slow down and get slow, but USD JPY is the only currency that I trade. I absolutely love it. I trade it going up and down. You can see just from this morning probably how much money I could have made on this, or did make. I traded in demo and live to show you guys how this works. So there you have it. If you guys have any questions, drop them on this video. As you can see, the 15-minute is still playing out. If you wanted additional pips, you could have 2 to 3 positions. You could have closed your 2 positions with take profit already. You could have held your 3rd position open and hold it until your 30-minute MACD crosses. If you're trading, remember you want to trade responsibly, intelligently, and with proper risk management, but you could gain quite a few nice pips. That is why I love scalping. So guys, good luck with your trading. I hope this video helps you. I'll keep it coming for you guys. Comment on this video if you have any questions.